Hello, today I'm going to show a really simple setup to get CSV import into Integromat. So I'm going to start out by making a really simple import page from a really simple CSV file. So if you look here, I have a file I call leads. It just has name and email of two people, maybe a phone numbers, maybe something other than leads. What you can do is just take this example file, drag it here, and it'll start making an import page. So let's do Integromat example import. And you'll see it'll have two columns. We'll go next. You'll get your import page. This is where you can drag files or send it out to your team. They can drag and drop or select Google Sheets and then send them to Integromat. You can also, if you get a CSV regularly via email, you can change the email to be this import page email, auto import to Integromat. So now that we have this page, we want to start getting set up in Integromat. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go back to Integromat. We're going to make a new scenario. And we're going to make a pretty simple one. We're going to make, we're just going to go into Integromat and out back into a Google Sheet. You may want to go to MySQL or some other app, but this will kind of show you a really basic setup here. Let's find webhook. Cool. And then we're going to go to Google Sheets. Perfect. Continue. The first step we're going to do is a webhook. We're going to do a custom webhook that triggers when the webhook receives data. So EasyCSV, when you choose a CSV or get one via email or choose a Google Sheet, will send the data up to this webhook. So we're going to click custom webhook. It's a little confusing here, but you're going to hit add. We'll name this incoming EasyCSV. You can name it whatever you want. Let's save. Now what it's doing is it's saying, okay, send me an example piece of data. That's why it says stop right here, but we're going to let that keep spinning. We're going to copy this webhook. We're going to go back to EasyCSV and go to Sheet Details. We're going to post to an API, and we're just going to paste the Integromat URL here. I like to post in chunks, which means like, okay, if I have 1,000 records, this will post 2 chunks of 500 records at a time. If you don't do this, it's going to post each record one at a time to Integromat, which might take a little longer. So this one I just like to post in big chunks because Integromat will take the whole chunk and then split it out into running the scenario n times. So it's just one quick push and then Integromat will still cycle 500 times. We're going to save that. So now this page, when a CSV is uploaded, will go to Integromat, which is waiting for the first record. So let's take that CSV we set this page up with. We're going to import the 2 records. We'll wait a second here. Sent to Integromat, successfully determined. That's great, because that means that now it knows what the data is going to look like from your import page. So we're going to say, okay. We're going to add our next module, which is Google Sheets. We're going to add a row. And we're actually going to go to this Google Sheet right here. I've just made it. It's got name, email, just like the other one, but I'm going to take the import ID, because every import that happens in EasyCSV, you get a log and it'll have the ID down here. So you get to kind of go back and see how often it was run and such. So we're just going to leave that. I selected the Google Sheet. We're going to select the first tab. The table contains headers, yes, and here they pulled in the headers from the Google Sheet. So I'm going to click here. This is the data that EasyCSV pushes up to Integromat. We push a bunch of standard fields, import ID, import name, person who imported it, the name of the import page, the slug of the import page. So if you want to log this stuff, so you can say like, oh, what import brought this record into my system or HubSpot or my database or MailChimp or something. Then the data for the row is under here. CSV row is the number. If you have any virtual fields, which are fields that you can compute or you can take part of a column in your CSV and just take like the first word or capitalize it in sentences or do some math or do some regex, you can make virtual fields. We don't have any here. So we're going to say in the name column of the Google Sheet, put the name from the import, put the email from the import, and let's put the import ID. So we're going to say, okay. We're going to save. Don't forget to save. Integromat, I always forget. We're going to make sure that it runs immediately. I just click this. Yep, run immediately. We're going to go back. Save the changes. We're going to turn it on. So now it's waiting. This webhook is waiting for someone to do an import. So we're going to try and import, and you should see the 2 rows from the example CSV go into Google Sheets. Yep, there's the 2 rows. Let's drag and drop. Let's import the 2 records. Remember, you can send this via email. You can post this into EasyCSV, which I'll show in another video via an API, or you can just select the file here. If we go back, yep, so they both got in the same import. Right, they came from this import, and they're right here. So, you know, the first important step is that webhook step, and then you can hook it up to whatever you want. You can filter for records. You can go to something and then go to MySQL. You can aggregate them all together, which I'll show in another video, so you can send them, even though Integromat triggers for each row of your CSV, you can still bundle them and then move them to a destination. But yeah, it's pretty quick. You just set up the webhook, make sure your import page is set up to go to that webhook URL, and off you go. Thanks.